Have any of you planned out a dinner and then your child refuses to eat it and you're freaking out as a parent because you're like, you don't want them to go to bed hungry? This is why I'm talking about why you should serve an evening snack. I'm Dana Snook, registered dietitian and feeding specialist. I help parents take the frustration out of feeding and help their children to grow up to have a long-lasting, good relationship with all foods. I'm sure you've heard it many times, don't eat after 7 o'clock. A once famous person said, don't eat after 7 o'clock, and the entire world thought that they shouldn't eat after 7 o'clock, felt guilty after eating after 7 o'clock. And did it change anything? No, people just felt bad about eating after 7 o'clock. There's this huge misconception that having evening snacks is not helpful for anybody, including our children. Oftentimes, parents will complain to me, well, if I give them an evening snack, they won't eat their dinner. Or if they know that their snack is better than dinner, then of course they're going to fill up on that. Or a parent will say they have to eat their dinner because if they don't eat their dinner, they're not eating till breakfast the next day. This really negates the whole reason of having your child to grow up with a relationship with all foods and to do a really good job at eating. Dinner by far is the hardest meal of the day. Because as parents, if you're working inside the house, outside of the house, if you're a stay-at-home parent, it does not matter. Your child has been going all day long, whether they go to school, whether they're in daycare, whether they stay home with you all day. It doesn't matter. By the end of the day, they're spent. They're emotionally spent, they're physically spent. And truth be told, they've probably already consumed 75% of the calorie needs that they need in a day. And if your child had a really, really good breakfast and a really awesome lunch and even some awesome snacks, they might almost be maxed out on 100% of what the caloric needs are that they need in a day. And so when we are offering those evening snacks, it just gives us as a parent a safety net to feel a little bit more comfortable about letting our child have that opportunity to eat before they go to bed. As a parent myself, there is no way that I want my child to go to bed hungry, nor do I want them to have to wake up in the middle of the night crying because they're hungry or full. Children that go to bed hungry, they don't sleep well. And this will impact you as a parent because they'll be waking you up and they'll be up earlier in the morning, and then they're probably going to be ravenous when they do get up in the morning. So as a parent, that evening snack is one more opportunity to feed your children. Here's the biggest complaints I get about evening snack, and I kind of alluded to these a little bit earlier, but the number one complaint I get from parents, if my child knows that snack time is coming, they will not do a good job at mealtime. And I say that that is kind of true sometimes. But as the parent, and if you haven't watched my video of why as parents we should be in charge of what to feed our children, go back and watch that video that I released last week. Because what we decide to serve our children is going to have a huge impact on how well they eat. So if a child knows that ice cream is coming for snack, yes, they're probably going to eat a little bit less at dinner time in order to save room for the ice cream that's coming for snack in a couple hours. However, some parents look at it as this a bad thing. I actually look at it as a really good thing. When we're working on trying to raise our children to be intuitive eaters and listen to their bodies for hunger and fullness, having our children be able to go, oh, I'm going to save some room so that I can eat the ice cream and I'm not stuffed, is a fabulous thing to be able to teach your child. However, I don't think evening snack always has to be something dessert-like. Evening snack could be apples and peanut butter, cheese and crackers, yogurt and fruit. It can be a combination of different things. So as the parent, you get to decide what is for snack. If a child knows, and if you have an older child, I actually do recommend that you say, here's what's for dinner tonight. We're not going to be eating for a couple more hours, and snack tonight is going to be. And you let them know what it's going to be because it allows them to be more of an intuitive eater. If you're serving pretzels and peanut butter and they can't stand peanut butter, they're probably going to do a better job at mealtime because they know what's coming later isn't as good. So as parents, sometimes it's kind of like this, well, of course they're always going to want the snack type thing. And sometimes that's true. But look at it in the way that your child is getting the right nutrients for what they need in their body, and they're actually doing a better job of being intuitive about the food that they're getting. The last thing that a lot of parents comes up is the timing thing around evening snack. And I do agree. This is quite complicated. By the time the kids get home from school, you get home from work, you get dinner on the table, sometimes it gets really close to bedtime. And I think as a parent, you can kind of navigate it and see which way works best for your family. Sometimes it means having a little bit of early dinner so that they can have that evening snack. And truth be told, there's times, and it just happened this week, I landed up having a client cancel at the last minute. And so I was home earlier. And so I was like, I texted my husband, I said my last client canceled and I'll be home and I'll make dinner. And by the time I got home, got the food cooked, got on the table, it was 7 o'clock at night and my daughter goes to sleep around 8 o'clock. So what I did in this instance is I said to my daughter, hey, we're not going to do snack time tonight because it's time for after dinner. It's going to be bath, bed, books, that type of thing. I said, so why don't you grab what you want for a snack tonight and we'll put it on the table. And so some of you might say, well, why was she in charge of snack that night? And that's because I knew it was going to get mixed in with all the other dinner that night. Also, truth be told, my daughter is 5 and a half, and I give her a little bit of more autonomy around what her feeding and her eating looks like. So in that instance, my daughter was able to say, okay, I know that I better do a good job with eating because I'm not going to be eating again until the morning time. But as a parent, it allowed me to sit back and go okay, so even if she doesn't do well with the dinner that I'm serving tonight, at least I know that there's other foods on the table that she can fill up on. So as the parents, take a strong look at, is there a way to incorporate that evening snack? Well, what about if your child is just weaning? So what if they're weaning from the breast or they're weaning from the bottle? So sometimes parents, it's that transition time where they're trying to get rid of the bottle, but their child is not quite ready yet. And this is actually where I talk about where you have to, serving an evening snack helps you to serve the milk at that time at the table, so your child starts to get into that routine of having those snacks at those times. So rather than look at an evening snack as a negative thing, look at how it could positively impact your child's eating. What happens if they don't do a good job at dinner? This gives them one more opportunity to fill up. What happens if they don't eat enough at dinner just because they weren't listening to their bodies and that type of thing? Again, one more opportunity to fill up. And keep in mind, snack in the evening does not always have to be a dessert type food. Snack in the evening can be nutritious food as well as it can be dessert type foods. And I actually encourage you to mix it up so that it is always something different. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button below because every week I bring a new video on a new topic of how to feed your children to have a good relationship with all foods and grow up to be a great eater. Have a great day. Bye-bye.